I've been the person in a local authority actually buying the technology, the one person who's been assessing it, and I've also got some experience actually working for a telecare provider, so maybe give you a bit of a different view. Over the next 20 years, you can see from some of the screens you've seen earlier on today that there's going to be a huge rise in the elderly population. There are lots of new grouped homes, people not living in care homes, the decrease in care home usage, and that's been some of the funding that JIT have put in has actually reduced people going into sort of long-term care, but actually looking at how they can actually stay in their own home through sort of grouped living scenarios. We've talked about sort of the aesthetics of technology. Looking at that and bearing that really much in mind, I've seen lots of things come to market in sort of the 10, 20 years that I've been sort of looking at some of this. And in the last 10 years, I've seen things come to the market that you really wouldn't want yourself. So you have to think much of what we were saying, that it's not just for the elderly population, although that's how it started, but it is going to be used in wider sort of outlooks. Think wider. How could your technology be used in a different way? And if you don't know, it's, you know, asking and networking at these events may give you that idea of how you can actually take that forward. Carers, that can't be sort of signified enough. A bit of the worry is some places only give telecare if someone lives alone. You know, you can't actually tell, you know, the carers make such a difference to people if the carer can have some telecare to actually give them a bit of a life, because if you can support the carers for longer, you can see from the demographics earlier on that that could keep someone in their own home much longer. You want to support clients in their own home because that's where they want to be. It protects clients and their property. I did some work in a local authority area, sort of seeing why people wanted to move into sheltered housing. And over 50% of them actually wanted to move from their own property due to a security issue. And that can be a perceived security issue. You know, we heard that, you know, the chances of you being robbed are maybe fairly minimal as you get more elderly, but it's the perceived risk that makes people want to move, and that risk's very real for people. By offering them a simple alarm system can mean the difference between them staying in their own home and wanting to actually move into a sheltered housing complex. And in this scenario, it actually reduced the sheltered housing waiting list by a half, just by organising a simple alarm for these people. The usability is really important. And in sort of the years I've been sort of involved in telecare, I've seen quite a lot of things come to the market that aren't actually fit for market purposes yet. And I think that's really important to actually get the chance, if you can, if you're setting up, to get some practitioner feedback, get user feedback before you go too far down the line so that it is usable. Because the usability factors, for some of them, they've spoken to the person who's going to be using it, the telecare or the equipment is going to be in their house, but nobody's actually talked to the practitioner who maybe has to set it up, program it, and that's maybe very difficult, and that makes it unusable for some people. So I think you have to sort of, whatever the bit of technology or the service is, you have to think about who's going to use it and make the best use of people out there and focus groups.